Solving linear inequalities review. Write each sentence as an equality. So to write each sentences, we're going to divide the sentence in sections and then rewrite it as an equality. So for to look at the first part, it said a number w minus 3.5 is less than or equal to 2. So here is a number w minus 3.5. So I'm going to write w minus 3.5 is less than or equal to, so less than or equal to negative 2. So my first answer will be w minus 3.5 is less than or equal to negative 2. And you can put this in parentheses if you want to, but you don't have to for that. All right, letter B. 3 is less than a number n plus 5. So I have 3 is less than, so less than a number n plus 5. So n plus 5. Therefore, I have 3 less than, 3 is less than a number n plus 5. And then for letter C, we have 0 is greater than or equal to twice a number x plus 1. So 0 is greater than or equal to twice a number, 2 times that number, so 2x plus 1. So I should have 0 is greater than or equal to 2x plus 1. Next, we are going to look at graphing each inequalities. All right, if I give you y is less than or equal to negative 3, how do we graph this inequality? I'm going to go ahead and draw my number line here and put my negative 3 there. Going forward is negative 2, negative 1, negative 4, negative 5. And negative 3, I'm going to put my dot here. Now here I need to figure out whether it's going to be an open circle or a closed circle. By looking at my what's given to me, y is less than or equal to negative 3. If it has the equal to sign, it needs to be a closed circle. Then I can look at, okay, my variable is on the left side, y is less than that. What numbers are less than negative 3, negative 4, negative 5? So my lines need to be pointing to the left. Another way to look at that, to determine that, is that if my variable is on the left side, I can look at my arrowhead for my greater than or less than. Since it is pointing to the left, my arrows goes to left. Then for the next one, what if I have 2 is less than x? Again, I'm going to go ahead and draw my number line. I have 2, 3, 4, 1, and 0. I'm going to go to 2, draw my circle. This time it's going to be an open circle because it does not have the equal sign below the less than. Now this time tell me that 2 is less than x. Therefore, I can also read this as x is greater than 2. What numbers are greater than 2? 3, 4, 5. So this one, for this example, my line is going to go toward the right side. But if you look at this, you can see that my number is on the right side, my arrow is pointing to the left, like I mentioned earlier. To determine whether which way your arrow is pointing, you can rewrite this as x is greater than 2. 2 is less than x is the same as x is greater than 2. Now that you have your variable x on the left side, you can see that the arrow is pointing to the right. All right, next we are going to look at, writing inequality from graph, and we have that all right, what if I have this graph given, and I want you to write this inequality form. So for the first one, we can see that our circle is at 48 and then it's pointing to the right. So I'm gonna pick a variable x, and this is greater than, since it's moving to the right, this is greater than, and it's also going to have the equal to sign because of the closed circle, meaning my 48 is included. So x is greater than or equal to 48. For the second one, this time I'm going to pick a variable x again. This time it is pointed to the left, therefore it is less than, and I will not have the equal to sign because it's an open circle. So x is less than 52. So to write that, you can look at the graph, see where the circle is at. Is it going to the left side, to the right side, and then determine whether it has equal to or the equal to sign or not, and then you can write the number. So for the first one, x is greater than or equal to 48. Second one, x is less than 52. All right, now we're going to start looking at solving inequalities using additions and subtraction. All right, this time it is very similar. Solving inequalities is very similar to solving a simple linear equation. I have x minus 6. Let me rewrite that a little bit better. Minus 6 is greater than or equal to negative 10. To solve for this, we're going to do the same thing, solve for the variable x. So I'm going to need to move my numbers together, variable together. So I have my variable on one side, number on the other side. So by looking at this example, I have x minus 6 greater than or equal to negative 10. So my numbers are negative 6 and negative 10. So to move my numbers together, I need to add 6 to both sides, so that I have x on one side and then my number negative 4 on the other side. So x is greater than or equal to negative 4. And then we can come here and draw our number line. I can say at negative 4, my circle is going to be closed because it's greater than or equal to, and it is pointing to the right side. All right, for letter B, what if I have negative 8 is less than or equal to 1 plus m? Again, my goal is to have my variable on one side, number on the other side to solve for variable. So I'm going to move my negative 1 to both sides, subtract 1 to both sides. I get negative 9 is less than or equal to m. Here you can leave it as this, or you can rewrite it. I like to rewrite my answer by having my variable on the left side so I can see which way my arrow is pointing to when I rewrite it. And negative 9 less than or equal to m is the same as m is greater than or equal to negative 9. In other words, when you switch your m to the other side of the equation, you switch your sign. So m is greater than or equal to negative 9. Come here, draw my number line at negative 9. It's also going to be a closed circle, and it is pointing to the right side also. All right, next we're going to look at solving inequalities using multiplications and division. All right, what if I have x over 8 is greater than negative 5? So to solve for x, this time I have x divided by 8 greater than negative 5. So the opposite of division is multiplication. Therefore, we're going to divide both sides by 8. And I have that my 8 and 8 cancel out. Therefore, x is greater than negative 40. Draw my number line here at negative 40. This time my circle is going to be open because it does not have the equal sign, and it is pointing to the right side. For letter B, what if I have negative 4 is greater than or equal to 3x? This time I have 3 times x, therefore I will need to divide both sides by 3 to get my x by itself. Negative 24 divided by 3 is negative 8, greater than or equal to x. Again, I'm going to rewrite this as x is less than or equal to negative 8. And to draw my number line, I'm going to draw my number line here. I have negative 8. It's going to be a closed circle because it has the equal sign underneath the less than, and it is pointing to the left side. All right, moving on with this. What if I have 6x minus 5 is less than 2x plus 11. Now this time I have variable 6x minus 5 on one side and then another 2x plus 11 on the other side. I have variable and number on both sides of my equation, so I can move anything that I want to. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and add 5 to both sides. It does not matter what you move first, as long as you have variable on one side, number on the other side, you will end up with the same answer. So I'm left with 6x here less than 2x. 11 plus 5 is 16. Now I need to move my variable together by subtracting 2x to both sides. 6x minus 2x is 4x is less than 16. Lastly, I need to divide both sides by 4. Therefore, my x is less than 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. I'm going to draw my number line here. At 4, it's going to be an open circle, and it is pointing to the left side. All right, I'm going to minimize this a little bit. All right, moving on with the next example. This time, what if I have 8b minus 3 is greater than 4 times 2b plus 3. Anytime I have a parentheses, you have to distribute the number into both terms. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I should have ab minus 3 is greater than 4 times 2b gives me 8b, and then 4 times 3 give me a positive 12. Then to solve this, we're going to, again, you can move your number first, you can move your variable first. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8b to both sides of my equations, and I should be left with negative 3 is greater than 12. Now, is negative 3 greater than 12? No, negative 3 is indeed, in fact, it is less than 12. Therefore, this is not true, and it has no solution. So if we have a number line, we won't have anything because it doesn't have a solution. All right, let's move on to the next example. All right, what if I have 2 times 5w minus 1 is less than or equal to 7 plus 10w. Again, we're going to go ahead and distribute the 2 into my 2 terms in my parentheses. 2 times 5w gives me 10w minus 2 is less than or equal to 7 plus 10w. You can move your number first, you can move your variable first, it does not matter. We're going to go ahead and subtract 10w to both sides. Therefore, negative 2 is less than or equal to 7. Now, is negative 2 less than or equal to 7? Yes. And that will always be true. Therefore, this is all real numbers. And if we needed to graph this in my graph line, any number that I have here, it would be everything. So all real numbers. for that. All right, let's look at another one. All right, what if I have negative 3 is less than negative 2x? Let me rewrite that. Negative 3 is less than negative 2x plus 1 less than or equal to 9. So to for this one, you can see that we have two inequality signs, the negative, the less than here and less than or equal to. So to solve for my variable x, which is in the middle, we need to like what we've been doing, you need to get rid of what's a little bit further from me first. So I have negative 2x, which is attached to it, and then plus 1. So to solve this, we will go ahead and move our 1 to both sides. To do that, we need to subtract. So when you subtract, we need to do it to all sides of my equation. So I will need to subtract 1 from the negative 3 and the negative 9, because they're all numbers. So I need to do that. Negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4, which is less than or equal to negative 2x. The negative 1 and positive 1 cancel out, and I'm left with less than or equal to 9 minus 1 is 8. Then lastly, we will need to divide all of this by negative 2. I divided by negative 2, negative 4 divided by 2 is 2. When every time I divide something by negative, I need to change my sign. So this is greater than or equal to x, and change this sign to greater than or equal to 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. Then we can rewrite this as 2 is, oh, I apologize. This should have been that was my mistake. Oops. There was just a less than, and there was a less than or equal to. So let me go ahead and change my sign for that. So there was less than, therefore this should just be greater than x. So 2 is greater than x, or I can say that x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Once again, I can rewrite this as 2 greater than x, mean x is less than 2. Therefore, to draw my number line, here's my number line for that. This time I got 2 answers, so add negative 4 and 2. Keep in mind that negative 4 is less than 2, so it's going to be on my left side. Draw my circle, it goes to the left, and then at x is less than 2, and it should be an open circle, so any numbers in between these are my answer for that. All right, let's look at, so earlier I talked about the negative. When you multiply or divide by negative, you will, I kind of like say a little bit that you need to change your sign. So if we look at this example right here, if I have 2 is greater than y over negative 3. To solve this, I need to multiply both sides by negative 3, because this is y divided by negative 3. My negative 3 and 3 will cancel out, and I'll be left with negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Anytime I multiply or divide by negative number, I need to change my sign. So from greater than will be less than y. Then we can draw our number line here at negative 6. Again, we can rewrite this as y is greater than negative 6. Because that way I have my variable on my left side, and I can see that my arrow is pointing to the right. Then let's look at one last one. What if I have negative 7y is less than or equal to negative 35? So to solve this, we need to divide both sides by negative 7. Again, anytime I multiply or divide by a negative number, I need to change my sign. So from less than or equal to will become greater than or equal to 5. So here my y variable is already on the left side, so I'm going to leave it as that at 5. This time it's going to be a closed circle, and it is pointing to the right side.